squad and the round table, the troops that's in the building, give them a hand. You know, they wait out here and travel to make sure that get some of this amazing food and different things like that. And I gotta give a big shout out to my sisters and I ISUPK, but they cooked this amazing food and our camera pulled out. Let's give them a hand and our sisters in ISUPK. And cook this amazing food. It's gonna be absolutely delicious. And then Dad absolutely like he's my brother. Travion and his amazing man, Candy, they still came through in the midst along this, man, they still showed up and gonna do, like I said, I have no idea why this group ain't, mainstream. The first time I heard it, but I told him, I said, as soon as I can, I'm gonna shout out you again, man, y'all are amazing, and people need to hear how amazing y'all been, man. I can't wait to buy y'all album and see y'all on the big screens, man. It's gonna happen because y'all not that dope. So that's Travion, I met the brother, a great brother, they're doing the work, doing drumming with the YMCA, and I seen him walk in doing the performance and had no idea that the brother had the voice of an angel somewhere. His name was amazing. His name was man. So we got them and they still showed up. Man. That's how you know that the Most High is with this, man. The brother still showed up in the midst of this thing trying to be shut down. Right. So we're gonna do that and we're gonna get it together. So first and foremost, I know that Travion came and do their thing. They're gonna open us up, and then we're gonna get into y'all a breakdown of the history of substance abuse disorder. We have a PowerPoint. We're gonna go over that real quick, and then we're gonna get into this amazing podcast with Captain Mara Quad and the Brown. Amazing things. Eat some of this glorious food that these sisters have prepared with love. All right, no nothing unlawful. You know what I'm saying? Everything that the Lord approves of. And we're going to do that. And then they're going to close us out. And then we're going to have a Q&A, any questions and things like that. Then we're going to get out of here, man. And have a good time and enjoy the rest of our weekend. I appreciate y'all for showing up. Everybody who's supporting this. And I want to give a shout out. They just came from that. My brother is red. My brother Duke is red chocolate, man, for opening up their home and giving us this location to continue this event as well. Let's get it, man. Thank y'all. And so yeah, let's get to it, man. Without further ado, I'm gonna introduce Travion and Ken, man. Let's give him a hand, y'all. I do. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. It's great to be sharing space with you. It loves to be here. Thank you for the opportunity for that. My name is Trey. A couple of things for you to watch. Let me tell you about the girl. Maybe I should. Better pick and make this should. We be making love constantly. That's why my hands are ashamed. Let's baby. The way that we kiss is unending. And the way that I be here. Yes, I'm with a face I want you to move. Brown sugar back. I get high. Hope you love. I don't know. That's good. I'll bring you close to me. You love me right now, turn you anywhere. Sweet like honey when it comes to me. And if you're there with the total eyes, you gotta make sense about it. Even try to tie. Brown sugar, man. I get high off this love, I don't know how to be good. Better than you with some brown sugar. Thanks, man.
Yeah, the Angelo fans out here. Yeah, on the back. When you walk in me, I'm in love with you. 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 I got my camera right here. Oh, no, you got to whatever it feels this way. There's something I can't make you respect. Baby, a little bit. No time back. It's gonna be a good night. Yeah. Everybody feeling free. Let it go, let it on my feet. Turn off the back. No time back. It's gonna be a good time. Yeah. Well, it's true. When I do, if I look up, I'll stay through. Knowing you. Yeah. Every day must end, it's done. And the night must end, beautiful. It's done, it's done. I'll be there and see you just as long as there is time. I'll be there, ready, your mind. I will never betray my heart. Said I will never betray my heart. I will never betray my heart. Said I will never betray my heart. Never bring down. Hey, what you say, what you say now? Yeah. Right. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, he drives moving. Yeah. I was feeling high. The world keeps turning. But a day, the way that no, it's no nothing. But it's colder in your summertime, colder in your you and things called the spotlight. Most intellectual they've got, but they fear us just the same. And on and on, you'll say, but I don't want to stop. You know, and on. Now, what am I supposed to do when you want you in the world? Now, when I was in front of myself, I guess it's with $3 every time. Yeah, you might like, but you will not enjoy. I want to go to the after that. Now, the world keeps turning. You want to be struck to go to you. Well, it's it. Most international, they got, but they fear us just the same. And I won't know what's happening. I don't want to stop. And on. Yeah. Cause my heart is coming down. Don't leave me alone. Good with the night. My neck, I need a cup of tea. The world keeps burning. You're rushing so distracted. You know that the mothership can't say it's so romantic. If you were paid and made and covered by our flame, most intellectual that got what they do is just the same. Oh, on and 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 on. Yeah. Yeah. You know, the best trying to do when I talk to you, you know, stop to what my emotion free, but you're saying the world is all the time. So many days I still know, so many times I've changed my mind. If I was born to make mistakes, but I ain't scared to stray away. So when someone's on my back, I know my heart will guide me. I'm trying to decide which way to go. And I will turn back to the trying to decide which way to go. Think I made a wrong turn back no. The bass. It makes do you even signs? Do you believe in truth behind what you was about? You believe in God, your banks on your soul. Does your little fade when your down start to grow? You don't even ghosts, behold the big you can't control. Your prison speaks of the way now you're paranoid. To do the most. How long will you believe when someone you don't see? In the world, it's all the man. Escape from the heart. I'm in the journey. So today, it's one of the nights. To the red break you. We're at the last. We're in the world. Please hold the line. Escape from the heart. I'm in the time. It's fun today. So all the past. Choose your path. You know, I never last. Everybody can't escape. Rules don't get the place. Can't be control of the day. Think about the choice and thing that you can find. To do the someone in the highs. Can't play the way about the eyes. You believe it all. There's no real control. The cycle all sing the home. Sing the same song that I didn't know that I better so long ago. But the disconnect even know. The breeze I in the phone. Still break my wrist for the story till I go. Yeah. I don't go. Still grab a wrist on the gospel till I don't go. Doing things until I'm back home. Still break my wrist on the phone till I don't go. Yeah.
Let's try and make space. Um, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. And we are drinking on a candy. I think we're gonna do one, two. Yep.
Ain't nobody gonna stop me from singing.
I'm done. We got, all right, we're gonna do one more for you and then we're gonna pass it over to you. Yeah, let's get that. Yeah. This next one is, that last one was Eric Badu, but the last little bit of it was an original called Ghost. This one is another original called Misconceptions. Keep an eye out for us. We got some big things coming. Feels like I'm about to go out of my mind. Witnessing fellas that gave me once a day. Eating time to prepare and prepare. For the feathers first and the roots of the ground. You left me with nothing but honey. Something I swore I never do.
Price damage. Yeah.
Now something but rage runs through my veins. And there was no something but I might know. But start I thought it was you.
Oh, she might.
The truth is mine.
If you're
Eyes and see. Turned out I never saw reality until today. You told me you were in love with another being alone. I wish you told me that before I placed me for everything. Because you're still the only one I think of. Words can't explain what they go through. I have a problem with you. I can dream of how I could make you. How do I stop being here with friends? That's my life. That's through my brain. Got this guy over the all. Living like a boy. One day, one hour. From the start, I knew you were me. But the truth is nice to me. Yeah, and now I never saw reality. I feel over there. You were in love with me. I wish you told me that before I placed you on everything. Please don't be what I think of. Can't explain the way we'll do it. Break it open. Oh, hurts understanding. My misconceptions, my range. So you don't mean to come and you turn this this is right. You're not like it's okay. So much. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, they say them all. Oh, pick them up. All right, hey, one more time, man. Give it up for Travion and Kenny, man. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely amazing, amazing, man. You know, we have been blessed to get a little bit more from them a little later, but we want to get into some of the things, other things that we're doing here tonight. Do a quick presentation, like I told y'all a little bit ago, about substance abuse disorder. Okay, we're gonna do a brief history on what substance abuse disorder is and where it came from and how we got here. All right, because at first, like I said, y'all know the history was the war on drugs. It was we were crackheads, we were criminals and things like that. But now that substance abuse and addiction has been gentrified, that's no longer the case. Now they need help. Well, now they need therapy. Now they need support. And there's so many resources that our people who was thrown into the bottom of the prisons had no idea about. The things that my father personally had no idea about. I had to, suffer my father did, taking my father off life support due to substance abuse disorder. You know what I'm saying? Because of the fentanyl that came through back in 2016. And so that's what inspired me started to burn in me to help another brother and sister not have to suffer like I suffered with my father. But one of the things that we have to know about is that there is tons of help and tons of resources out there. And one of those resources, the reason that we are here right now today and doing this, even in the midst of trying to be shut down, is the ISUPK, the Command and General Yahanna. Through the night, you know what I'm saying? They definitely tried to shut him down, but the Lord saw fit that this is what's going on, this information must continue to get out. All right. So that's what this is all about. So we're going to go through a brief history of how one of substance abuse disorder, okay? And how we got to that point, we wasn't always there. Like I said, we all have, right now today, we've been touched or been affected by this disease, this mental disorder that they called it now. We've all suffered from it. And so we want to make sure that people are aware. That's what this is, been about substance abuse awareness, okay? Awareness of the resources that's out there for you and for your people. Because now AI is taking so many jobs, and this is one of them that's kind of AI proof. You know what I'm saying? These uh, life, people who have life experiences, lived experience with this disorder, and can support brothers and sisters out there. This is how you can create a career in helping people battle this demon. That's why we call it battling the demon of substance abuse disorder, because people don't even know you can get paid and start a career from helping people battle this demon once you have conquered it. All right? And the generals always tell us life is war, and every day is a battle. So every day you battle this disorder. So if you lose the battle and you woke up today, you didn't lose the war. You still got a chance to battle the disorder and not let it overtake you and become your demise. Like unfortunately, my father had to meet his due to this battle. All right, I don't want you to have to suffer like I had to suffer taking your father off life support because of something that, a disease that you have, a mental disorder that you have. All right, I don't want you to have to suffer like that. All right, so this is why we're doing this, man. We love our people. Okay, we're not out there in the streets rioting. We right here trying to fix our people, and that's what it's all about. Creating small sanctuaries where people can come and be healed and be amongst one another, listen to amazing music, something to feed your spirit, amazing food, something to feed your soul. This is what this is about, man. What I'm saying? We ain't got to be out there suffering like that. We can be out here helping one another heal. The scriptures say iron sharpens iron. And throughout tonight, when we get later on, I want brothers and sisters to come up here. You may have battled this demon of substance abuse and have been winning the battle. But don't let your light be hidden under a mattress. Show us those skills and those weapons you use to defeat that demon. All right? Somebody here can benefit from your battle, or your battles that you continue to battle. So we're gonna get into it, man. We're gonna talk about that. Is this we got a few more hours, we're gonna get into it. A couple more, we got some amazing food for y'all too. We're gonna get into it. But let's get into this. You ready for me? All right, we're gonna get into it. So this is the history of substance abuse. If anybody don't know who I am, my name is Officer Kodash Diana 5000 ISUPK, Commander General Yohana, man. And I'm honored that y'all are here with me today to, get this information out and be here to battle. I'm happy that y'all are here on the battlefield with me. That's what it feels like right now. We on the front line of the struggle right now. And we on the battlefield together, man. And I appreciate y'all being here, battling with me today, battling against this team of substance abuse, man. So the first slide we got here is the history of substance abuse disorder. Before, that was not the case. It wasn't substance abuse disorder. It was crackhead. It was the war on drugs. But we don't get into it. All right. The history of substance abuse disorder from ancient times to modern treatment, Brick by Brick Foundation. And I want to say that about Brick by Brick Foundation. We are a new nonprofit organization. Me and my brother Terrence, who I grew up with, my brother McCartney and I, UPK, and the sister Isaiah, who just, she left, but she is part of Brick by Brick. Making this thing, let's get in the hand, man. Really make up our ground, man. That's a $5 first grant. We're get brothers and sisters jobs. I'm in the midst of building a house from the ground up to be able to house brothers and sisters coming out of recovery and reentry. It's not just recovery, it's also reentry. So brothers coming out of prison, having them get acclimated back into society. So we're before certain, we already doing food programs, food and clothing programs, then we have shelter as well for brothers and sisters, man. So that's gonna be glorious, Lord willing, that comes to pass, man. So I appreciate y'all for coming out. Let's get to it. So can we get the next slide there for the question? So the history of substance abuse disorder, the ancient times, somebody talking about Brick by Brick Foundation. Let's do it. All right. Early records of substance abuse. Ancient civilizations used alcohol, opium, and plant medicines. The evidence, I keep on listening to the Mesopotamia.
Mesopotamia.
Egypt, China, Greece, y'all remember back in those times, even the ancient, the natives, over there, they used them substances sometimes to come up with names and different things like that at the time. You come up little Bigfoot, you know what I'm saying, little small Bigfoot, whatever, you know what I'm saying. But they was back in these days, they was, the Egypt, Greece, and China using them for whatever madness or whatever they had going on as well. But at that time, it was considered spiritual medicine and social not viewed as a disorder at this time. It was not a disorder at this time, man, in the ancient times. Okay, one second. It was not. There we go. All right, early human use substances ritualistically, with medication, not as we define addiction today, all right? So next slide, that's the ancient time, keep going. All right, the middle age of 1700s, all right? Alcohol became common in Europe and the colonies. Tobacco spread globally. Little medical understanding of addiction existed. You know, this is still a time where, you know, people still burning. You know, we don't know exactly what's going on. They still finding out, you know, we running around like they, you know, having a meeting and trying different things, trying to see what's good and what's not. You know what I'm saying? They really don't know what's going on at the time. Okay. Um, Alcohol and tobacco became widespread, but addiction wasn't medically recognized.
Right.
It was not medically recognized at the time.
Right.
All right. So that's still, you know, that history was not medically recognized in the Middle Ages. Keep going. All right. Then we got the 1800s. Opium introduced industrialism. Industrialization of opium and morphine were widely used. And if y'all notice, just one of the things I want to touch on, I don't know how fentanyl, you remember when we was going to the hospitals, it was morphine was the thing that they gave everybody. Then all of a sudden, now you're going in there, you know, your wife is going through labor, and now they're telling you if they could give her some fentanyl. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, what? What do you mean? My people just died from this the other day. You better give her some fentanyl, you know? And so, you know, then they tell you, like, no, we got the real fentanyl. You know, we monitor that. That's on the streets and shit. They got to explain that whole thing to you. You know, but that's what was going on. I remember at the time it was just morphine, you know what I'm saying? But then they switched over to this what we dealing with now, this fentanyl. But it's an opium and morphine were widely used. Civil War soldiers often became dependent. Doctors began noticing the opium habit. You know what I'm saying? Back in the times, you know, and then we came to understand that in war, you know, when you talk to a lot of your grandparents, who went to that Vietnam and different things like that, they got, you know, super addicted to the opiums over there. Over there, okay? Let me, hold on, let me see, make sure I can get stuff. Boom, boom. All right. So this one says, early drug dependence was increasingly noted by doctors. So now they started to see, like, okay, this might be an issue. All right, this is something that's going on here. There might be something going on, and we gotta take a deeper look at this thing in the 1800s. Go ahead, because like I said, it's still being gentrified at this point. At this time, we still look at it as, what did it say, 3/5 of the human. It ain't affected them. They don't care about the Black, Hispanic, and natives and what it's doing to us. It ain't affecting them. They use it, they get comfortable using it, right? So let's keep going. Next slide, please. Let me keep this so. All right, then now we have the 1900, early 1900 drugs and the policy. Heroin. So heroin was originally legal and stole as medicine. Okay, that's one of the things that, like you said, it was a lot. At one point, if you know anything about history, you know that cocaine was drinking Coca-Cola. If anybody knows the history of drugs, they used to use cocaine and Coca-Cola and different things like that. It was something that was, you know, okay. That wasn't looked at as a problem at the time. You know, they used, you know, aspirin, you know, different aspects. We tell people all the time, you know that you're abusing drugs because, you know, you're not trying to take aspirin and Tylenol like that every day. Like you're trying to do with the purpose sense of medicine, whatever's going on, you know. But some people, when they doing these aspirins and things like that, they're trying to take themselves out of the game. You know, it's like they take all skills to underline themselves and things like that. But, you know, they started making aspirin and things like this. So heroin was originally legal in Stone's medicine in 1906. Pure food and drug pure food and drug are required labeling. In 1914, the Harrison Act regulated narcotics. Okay, so now narcotics is being, you know, prescribed, prescription drugs, and now, you know, you couldn't even really get it. They said, but we had a high tolerance for pain. You know, in our community. You know, so it was tough for us to even get to. This is where backfiring started, you know, the beginning of the backfiring on them. We couldn't even get, you know, some of these narcotic drugs, the drugs of the pain that's in them narcotic base, because they said, you know, we had a higher tolerance. We could suffer that. All right. The little did they know they was setting up their own minds trying to hurt the children of the Lord. That's right. Let's keep going. Make sure I listen up. Excuse me. So yeah, the move from casual use to, you know, to use the regulations and punishment. Right? So, you know, now that they taxing it, you know, now it's punishment and you sell it without their permission, basically. So that's when that's not, you know, punishment for the drugs. Because now they taxing it. It's what you call prescription. So now it's a prescription, now they selling it. So now they put punishments on it. Like, okay, if you ain't selling it for me, then you can't sell it. You tax you for it. And then that's when the punishment started happening at that time. So now we are in the mid 1900s, medical and cultural change. Research on addiction and the brain began. Okay, so now this is the way in the 1900s. You know, now it's starting to affect them. They're using these drugs, they keep it from, they push it on their community. Right. Research on the brain started to begin. Alcohol Anonymous founded in 1935. So this is the first, you know, NA program. People, now this is AA. AA was founded at this time. Okay, so now the programs are starting to happen. People starting to recognize, like, hey, this is the issue. Support is starting to happen, but this is still not support for us. You know, it's support for them. You know, widespreadly. You know what happened to us later. They started to push things out. We didn't want to go too fast, but y'all know what's happening. Anybody know? You know, back then it was already alcohol is anonymous. You know, that's what prohibition. If you want to know, they had that whole thing because it was affecting them. Right. Veteran, so it's that in the Vietnam War, highlighting heroin addiction in soldiers. So that's why I was talking about earlier. You talk to any of your grandparents. You know, your grandparents who went to that Vietnam War, they'll tell you, you know, about those lost children that they got over there in Vietnam due to all that substance abuse. But they also tell you all the problems that they have that America doesn't care about. They got this Memorial Day, but America can't so little about their veterans. You will see so many veterans. I go to these 10 cities, to these bridges, and there's so many veterans, ex-veterans, under those bridges, because America doesn't care about their soldiers. That's right. You know what I'm saying? That's why they need to be in the army of the Lord. That's right. You know, the army of the ISUPK, so they care about the soldiers. Going to be the care about the soldiers, and the things that we need that we get. You know what I'm saying? I did brothers in Minnesota at short notice, and what did I get? Brothers in Minnesota at a short notice. Brothers needed us in Trinidad at one point. What did they get? Over to Trinidad. We got a brother right now over at what county is that over there in Colombia? Dominican Republic right now. In Cuba. That's in Cuba right now? Yeah, in Cuba. Feeding the brothers and housing and cold in the brothers. You know what I'm saying? That's what we got going on in the ISUPK, because the commanders in the house cares about his soldiers. All right. You know, all do is to the most high Christ. That's right. So real quick, you know, keep it going. So, and keep the finger on this one. So what we had 1900, make sure I miss one of the notes on that one. transform. The neuroscience transform. Okay. All right, now let's go to the next one. We good on that one. All right. The 19 will be at 1970s and 1990s. This is the science advances. Brain reward systems where black cocaine epidemic emerged. Methamphetamine use increased. So, they being nice about it. You know what I'm saying? This is when they started to push cocaine in our communities.
Right.
That's what really happened. That's how they wanted to stay in on their cocaine epidemic emerged. No, it didn't just come out of nowhere. The oppression pushed this thing in our community, funding the war that was right before that. You see, it was a war before that. And they decided to push this cocaine in our community at this time. You know what I mean? And who was it? I want to say it was Reagan. Am I getting that right?
Bush.
Reagan and Bush. You know what I'm saying? At this time, they were pushing it to fund the war that they was doing. So it didn't just be burgers out of nowhere. They would like to do things like that. What's that thing they call in school right now? They don't want you to know the real history, critical race theory, where they want to take history out of the schools of what they want to say that we were the migration, the great migration,
Right.
voluntary migration is what they call it. To try to, so their children don't have to be sad about what their people are. But that's what it's really about. They really don't want their children to suffer and be sad about what their ancestors are. They don't like their children to suffer. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that's really about. So then we murder methamphetamine use increased, okay? You know what I'm saying? That's what was going on at the time. We don't want to let them creeping that up like that.
Right.
All right. You know what? We let that slide.
Right.
All right. So let's go to the next one. All right. 2000, so now we're here. Prescription opioids became widely misused. Overdose rates increased dramatically. And public health response expanded. That's where we are now. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, this is the beginning of the gentrification of drug addiction.
Right.
Gentrification, because that's when they fix things, when things start to be gentrified.
Right.
Okay? They don't care about their community until they want white people. They put pop-ups in Starbucks, they put that little police scanner up in the community, raise the property tax when you can't afford to live over there, and now the community gets better all of a sudden.
Right.
So if you want anything better in America, you have to hope that it gets gentrified.
That's right.
All right? And we're living in it right now. Right now, what's getting gentrified? Domestic terrorism.
Right.
Is being gentrified. White people are looking like they Martin Luther King now. In the video, you couldn't have told me that what the beating of Martin Luther King.
Right.
That looked just like Martin Luther King being, except they pulled out a pistol and they about 15 of them at the same time. I'm like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? That was one of them. I couldn't believe it myself. They couldn't
Right.
but this is the gentrification that needs to happen for ICE to be gone, for domestic terrorism to stop. It has to start affecting the whole person. It has to start affecting white people. That's the only way they care about fixing things.
Yep. Right.
It's unfortunate. I hate that for y'all, for white people. But unfortunately, you being unalive for the police means that a lot of people will probably stop being unalive by the police. You know what I'm saying? Maybe. But that's how it happens. You know what I'm saying? Now that your people are dying from opioids, the opioid crisis, your people are, your children are being unalive. Being unalive because of the opioid crisis. Now a lot of people get to get relief, get to get support. They get to get programs and therapy and things like that. Now we are able to say that we have depression. We wasn't allowed to be depressed. That's just our normal life. How you depressed? That's your everyday life. And we didn't get diagnosed with depression because that's normal life for us.
Right.
Being in here. You know, so they were like, how you depressed? That's normal for you. We depressed. We don't normally live like this. We should feel bad. That's your everyday life. We put y'all in a situation. What you mean you're depressed? That's your, you suffer that. Why are you?
I'm pain tolerant.
Right. I'm pain tolerant. You know, The broken window theory. I remember I was in school and I learned about the broken window theory. It blew my mind. I moved into a white neighborhood and I got a ticket for my grass being too high. I said, what? They do that? And I'm like, in the hood, you let these landlords with these big apartment buildings have all the trash, everything in front of their houses with no fines. But me and your neighborhood, let my grass being too high to get a fine. So why is that? Why do we go to our neighborhood trash is okay? These $1 million landlords get to have their property with trash all in front of it, grass to the sky. Why is that? Because it's okay for this to happen in our neighborhood, but not theirs. Right? That's what it's about. The broken window theory. The broken window theory says it was psychology diagnosis. They say if a window is broken in the neighborhood, it attracts crime and violence. So that's why you don't see abandoned houses in their neighborhood, broken windows in their neighborhoods, but you see it in ours because that's the area that attracts the violence, and that's the area that they'll put the violence in. Okay? So to get back to the point, I digress a little bit. Prescription opioid, I'm gonna end it with this, y'all. I've been talking a little bit. The overdose ratio dramatically high. Responses, it gentrified. All right, it started hurting them. Keep going. Let's go to the next slide. Now it's hurting them, and what happened? Boom. Let's go under the slide. The opioid law. You see that? What's that? From way back in 2013, when it said, so the NBA's death certificate, 2013 to 2023, data of preliminary at the time of release. Opioid involved overdoses counts minor, counts mirror all drugs overdose numbering among Minnesota, just Minnesota too. I forgot we did switch that like that. I just wanted to show Minnesota because we battling this. But then that's the chart of how bad it's gotten. You see that spike down in 2020, y'all know what happened at that time. You know, you know, just started getting real good and hot. Right. They sitting in the house bored out of their mind. And now they doing too much drugs. They got too much drugs with time on their hand in those communities. You know, that's what was happening, man. Those overdoses. And this is why all the resources right here for us right now. Let's do the next one. All right. So, about an understanding of SUD, substance use disorder. Right. That's where we are here now. That was substance use disorder. That was like, oh, all our people are dying. Our kids are overdosing. Hey, we need to give them more support. They need counseling. They need therapy. They don't need some of the things that we gave to the blacks and the Hispanics. Our people need therapy. This is not crackheads. This is not a war on drugs. This is substance abuse disorder, right? And so this is what was happening. I think that's so too much. So that's the end of so it said addiction recognized as brain disorder. And the brain disorder medications like methadone, you know what I'm saying? Anybody who battle heroin addiction. Heroin, you can't just stop doing heroin. You could die. But what they do is wean you off with methadone. All right? That's what they did. Methadone, what was that? Suboxone. Suboxone is the other one. No, I'm talking about this next one right here. It's a purple thing used. Harm reduction and recovery support expanded. And that's what some of the resources that I'm telling y'all about now. Where your people who battle this, they can get paid for their recovery. They can start a career for their recovery. And a lot of people don't know about that. It's a long training that they can do. If they can pass the training, they can start making money to help other people recover. All right, and to get off the shores. A lot of people don't know that that's what's going on. I'm talking about thousands of dollars a month they can get for helping themselves and helping people get off of substance abuse. All right, and that's what the harm reduction and recovery support expanded into that bedroom. They get the way they get paid, the work that you do to help your people all these years, now you get paid their insurance for helping them with that second work. That's what that's about. All right, next slide. All right. And then the takeaways. Substance use has existed throughout history. Understanding nation has evolved. Today, substance use disorder is treated as a health condition. Education, compassion, and treatment saves lives. This sounds like an junior high to me. You've been trying to save lives and not just throw things. The nation is not designed. That's what the scriptures call it. The nation is not designed. And that's what we're doing now because we are calling blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to come together, the nations that are not designed by this earth. You know, you see, you know what I'm saying? Nothing kind of do we see what happens to the black, you see the Mexicans, what's happening to the Hispanic, you see the natives in reservations, living in tent cities on their own land. The nations that are not desired that the Bible speaks of in Zephaniah 2:1 is right in your face. All right. And the Lord is calling for them to gather together. That's what's going on here. The son of perdition must be revealed. Right? And that's what's happening in the earth. People are starting to see who the devil is for real. All right. So if you're looking for shelter, comfort, a hedge of protection, the only way you're going to find it is here in ISUPK, and you're going to find out how to properly serve the Most High. So when these bombs drop and things that's going to happen to this nation happens, you can have the Lord's protection around you. We don't want you to be sure that you have it. We want you to make sure that you have it. And how you make sure you get in these classes in ISUPK and study to show yourself approved of what we're talking about. If you don't believe it, go back to being a disgusting person you've always been your whole life. Or you can make a change today, and you can stop being insane, doing the same thing you've always done, expecting a different result. All right? With that, man, I'll leave that right there. We're going to get into, I appreciate y'all coming in and hearing us out. We're going to do another transition. We're going to get Candy back on the mic, and then we're going to Charity out and Candy back on the mic, and then we're going to get into the round table of truth in a second. Please eat, sure, get that food out there. It's time to get the plates out there. Y'all be eating that and enjoy this great food that we prepared for y'all. And we're going to have a good time. And then at the end, after the round table, we're going to have any questions. Any questions you have about this or anything you guys want to get into those questions as well, man. But thank y'all, man, for coming out and listening. I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate it. Did you need this mic back or y'all good to go?